Okay, hi everybody. This is absolute values, and we're going to get started. So we have the absolute value. Absolute value x minus b. B is your center part. Notice that it's always a minus, and the k is how far that you go either way. So great example of this, I'm going to put Millington is in the center. It is 7 miles between Vassar and Otisville. Now, so if this is the center, this would be the B part, and each way is the K part, 7 miles either way, okay? One of the things we want to ask when we're solving for absolute values is the absolute value isolated at all times, okay? Meaning there's no multiplier out front here. If there was, if it was a 2 or something like that, we would need to divide. All right, so an absolute value means we need to be figuring out north and also south. So an absolute value problem, we're going to start out with equations and then we're going to go into inequalities, needs to have two scenarios, north and south. Okay, and I'm going to solve these. I add 3, so x is 9. In this case, I'm going to add 3, so notice it's the same process, but I don't get the same answer, so don't think you're going to get 9 and a negative 9, okay? Now, how would you graph these? You actually graph them with a solid dot. And if you looked, 6 would land right in between these. Oh, not 6. 6 would not land in between them. 3 would land, and it's 6 this way and 6 this way. Sorry. Okay? So pretty easy, same thing. I mean, it's just equation solving. You just have to do your two scenarios. 2x plus 5 is equal to 11. 2x plus 5 is equal to a negative 11. Minus 5. 2x is equal to 6. Divide by, 2, and x is 3. Subtract 5 over here, but I don't get 6, I get a negative 16. Divide by 2, and x is a negative 8, which is okay. And what I meant by okay is that you can have a negative and a solid dot here and a solid dot here. Now it's a little bit harder to see the center, isn't it? But I know that I would be going 11 either way. Okay? Okay. So back to, okay, here we go to continue. Now let's go into inequality. So do you remember talking about the inequalities? So we just did inequalities, so we have to apply the inequalities to the absolute values. So you're still doing the same thing. We still need two scenarios. One in which you take what you see is what you get. But if you're going to flip the sign on the second part, you also have to flip the sign of the inequality as well. Okay? So I'm going to solve. I'm going to do one at a time just to keep it. Negative 2. Don't forget, at this point, you would also want to practice the rules. If you divide by a negative, you have to flip the sign. So x is greater than negative 1. On this side, I would subtract 5. I get 2x is less than negative 8. Divide by 2. I don't have to flip the sign. There is no dividing. And x is less than negative 4. Okay, now that I've got these, I have, first of all, x is greater. So let's do a negative 4 and a negative 1 here, okay? And am I open or closed? Well, it looks like I'm open on both. So that's the nice thing. You don't have to keep them straight. One won't be open and one closed. Okay. So let's see. X is greater than -1. Greater is to the right. X is less than -4. Less is to the left. Huh. Well, they don't even overlap. Well, that's weird. Well, let's go back up and let's look at the statement. So let's read this. The absolute value of 2x plus 5 is greater. Oh, it's an or statement. So because it is a greater statement, we can have it be an or statement where either one of these will make this true. Okay. So of course, I know you want to try the other one. So here we go. Set up two scenarios. 4x minus 1 is less than 9. What you see is what you get. Then let's switch. It's greater than a -9. Okay, let's get solving. Plus 1, plus 1. That looks like it's going to be a decimal. Oh, wow. Not a big deal. Let's see, 4 goes into 10 twice with 2 left over, so 2.5. Okay? Add 1. Oh, 4x is greater than a -8. And divide by 4. And x is greater than a -2. All right, looks like we're open circles again. -2, 2.5, open circles. All right, let's see what this says. X is less than 2.5, and -2 is greater than -2, and they overlap. Well, let's see. Should I highlight in between? Well, let's check. Let's read this. 4x, the absolute value of 4x minus 1 is less than, so that is an and statement. So if it's an and statement, you have to do both of the conditions. That's why, okay? I'm not circling these to fill them in. I'm just highlighting that you would highlight that all together. Okay? All right, let's do one more. I'm going to kind of see if you can handle this. Okay? Two scenarios. 2 minus x is greater than or equal to 7. 2 minus x is less than or equal to a -7. So right away, before you even get started, look here, what does that say? Absolute value of 2 minus x is greater. So that is an or statement. So that means probably point outwards, okay? So you don't have to satisfy. So this 2, should I add 2 or minus 2? I'm going to minus 2 because it's already positive. So I'm left with a -x is greater than 5. Yikes! Divide by a -1. And when I divide by a negative, oh, I'm going to star it, remember? I'm going to flip the sign. So x is less than a -5. Do the same thing again. -x is less than -9. Divide by -1. Uh-oh. Dividing by a negative, so flip the sign. Oh, so these are solid circles. -5. Here's a 9. Okay, let's see. X is less than or equal to -5. And x is greater than or equal to 9. Nice. That works out. Okay, now it's your turn. See you later, friends.